Well, I'm Sadan.
Okay.
I'm Sadan. Just, I'm just gonna ask questions. You answer the questions,
Okay.
and that'll just kind of take us through everything. First of
Okay.
all, thank you for, giving us some of your time.
Okay.
So my first question is, so what was you doing before you got into dispatching?
Okay. So before I got into dispatching, I actually own my own DUI school. So
Mm,
I have a DUI and risk reduction program here in Georgia. And I also have a family violence intervention program. And I'm also certified to do drug testing, non-DOT and DOT. So I've had several companies already up on my belt before I decided to get into the dispatching side of the house.
okay, so what makes a person with all these kind of, connections and streams of income decide they want to do dispatching?
Learn something new, different, not just be stagnant and so forth like that. And then my husband drives trucks also. So it was like, more like a progression on into that type of lane. So I wanted to learn how to do the dispatching side of the house. And that's why I came to Charles.
Okay, so it's kind of a family business then.
Yes.
Amen. So what, like you said, you came to Charles. So I mean, I see a lot of programs out there. So what couple of things that stood out to you about Charles and made you choose him?
Right. And I did. I looked at a few of them, but it was because of Charles' openness. And I actually took the time to go through several of his things that he had out on YouTube and watched it, from beginning to the end. And I felt more, comfortable and ease. And he broke it down for me to understand. And here I am. I got an engineering in a degree in engineering. And so for me, it was like I need to be A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. And he was not going all over the place. So I felt like it was more approachable. And I
Mhm.
saw where he was, connecting with his people and answering the questions, hands down. And he knew his stuff. Right.
So he knew his stuff, huh?
He knew his stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. You want to be around some people who know their stuff.
Know they stuff. Mm-hmm.
Mm. So how long have you been doing this?
I started with Charles, I want to say last year, March of 2021. And right after I went through his program, I'll say maybe about in like the last part of September, October is when I went out and started looking at some warehouses. And I went and saw this vision. And so I'm in a warehouse now. I actually bought two.
Okay, so you bought two warehouses.
I have two warehouses.
Amen. Amen. So what was kind of the first sign that, okay, this actually is a good program. This going to something I'm gonna be able to do and still maintain my everyday life.
Right. So when I got the program with Charles in the book, he broke it down in layman's terms. So it was just like a Bible version for me. I, took it, went to the class that he gave, on those evenings and nighttime, and I put it to work. So every time, I would go out, I would start, getting more comfortable with, calling up, carriers, setting it up. I made a few little stumbles and so forth. And then once I just felt like, hey, I got it, gift the gab. And I had my book on one side, just in case I had to refer back to it. And then once I kept doing the same thing over and over again, I put that book off to the side and I ain't looked back. So
Amen. Amen. So how long you think it took for you to get good to where you was able to put the book down and just remember it and repeat it?
right. So for me, I think for me it was easier because I teach and so forth like that. So I want to say
Mm,
probably about maybe like good 2 months, 2.5 months for me to just say, okay, hey, I think I got this, hands down, and I can go. Now, not saying I don't refer back to it every now and then, just a refresher, because you always
mhm,
can learn some things. But for me, I say probably about 2.5 months, and I was gone.
mm. So now that you're doing it, like, what does your day look like? I mean, do you have to get up early? Is it
Yes.
hard?
Yes. So I wouldn't say hard because this not a job. I love what I do. So you don't look at it like that. And
Mm,
so it's a grind. So for me, I got my schedule set up. And plus I got carriers that are on dedicated lanes. So I pretty much kind of know where they're going.
mm,
What makes my life a little bit easier versus, individuals, where it's like maybe a box truck or, hot shot type thing where you got to be doing all across the board. So for me,
mm,
my day begins at, 5:30 in the morning, talking to my drivers, seeing what's going on, making sure they okay, nothing's wrong, nothing outrageous that we can't handle. And then I'm pretty much, going on for my day and so forth like that. So about 8, 9 o'clock, I'm off over here doing what I need to be doing for my other businesses and so forth,
mm,
trying to get more, solidify more contracts and bring in more, revenue up under that umbrella and so forth.
Okay. So do you think this is a good business for women to get into?
Yes, hands down. Nothing didn't stop me, point blank, period. I wouldn't say it's not even a learning curve. It's just a point that, you need to know what you're talking about, because you're in a male dominant field. So, quite naturally, you need to know exactly, like, study your equipment, know what that equipment is going to run. Because they would ask me some questions and I was like, see, I already got you, because I already know what Charles told me. So that was like studying all those power units, knowing exactly from the rooter to the tutor is what I call it, knowing that, and then learning that trucker's language, asking my husband questions. And then what I do, I'll ask drivers too, like, okay, what you drive, how long you drive, and what some of the things that, kind of bother you. And I would take note of that and then go back and learn, right? You can put it in a book, but you still got to go out here and apply it. So for me, yes, women can handle this hands down, but you just got to know your stuff and stand firm on it, and don't give into your convictions, like that.
Well, it sounds like you're gonna stand firm.
Yes.
Don't nobody give you no stuff.
No stuff. All right. Especially, your stuff, you study your craft, because, again, this is, someone's livelihood, right? And so you have to look at it from like that. Just as quick as you're over here, lollygagging, they go on down the road. So for me, it's like, you want to be like an open book. Give them more to just like this, say, hey, here's your load for the day, and you be on your way. But you give them more to it. So like that's again. So even though you got this roadmap over here that we're using from Charles, you also, you develop some other things over here too along that way to help you out and so forth. So this is just like a precursor to set you up for, to better, and not just leave you stagnant and so forth. So like I said, again, I took it in March, and about maybe a good month, I think I had already got my carrier and so forth from there. And then I just kept on going and networking, getting out there and so forth.
So like you say, you got the gift of gab, and you're
Yeah.
obviously very, very personable. So do you think that that's important? You think it's important that, people, you like people in order to get into this industry?
Right. And you got to listen. It's time you just got to shut up, listen, ask some poignant question that's going to get you not no yes or no, but to dive in deep as to, like what's the driver's history, like, do you have a truck note, what's your insurance looking like, what's your family life looking like, is this really what you want to do, where are we going with this, who all you have involved with from your MC number, your authority numbers, is it just you I'm dealing with, I'm doing with a multitude of people. So like more and more questions I ask for the driver, the more I got a better picture of who I have, whether or not if this person is something I want to spend my time with, or it's not worth my time and so forth like that. So yes, you got to be personable. But my thing is just sit there and listen and let them get it off their chest as to what they have and so forth like that. And the main thing that I'm running up against now is like, again, the fuel and the insurance and so forth like that. So they're asking me questions now, like, how can I help them, alleviate some of these problems, especially if I'm their dispatcher. So you got to be, jack of all trade, master of none per se, but most of all, just listening. And that's the key to anybody.
So it sounds like the more you know, the better you do.
Yes, exactly. You like yesterday I was dumb, but today I'm smarter. Right. So you're always constantly learning.
Okay. And you got a good foundation working with Charles to start with, huh?
Right. That was my foundation right there. I took that and I took it on to some of my other friends, and I was like, hey, we gonna, practice, practice out for each other. And I play like I ain't gonna lie, I play like I was Charles. I want to see what I know, and then let them, ask me some questions. So it worked. And then when I did know something, I would send a quick text or something to Charles, and he'll get back with you. That's one, like I told him, that's one thing about why I like is he will answer your question. It's not like he gonna just throw you off somewhere. And it could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 months on down the road. He's still gonna answer your question with no problem. And then you be like, okay, I got it, and you go on.
Hey man, so what's the name of your company?
So my company is, like I got it here, it is To Renew. Well, that's one of my companies. I own a few. One of them is To Renew Logistics. So there I started my dispatching with the To Renew Logistics, and I just opened up to Georgia Transportation Logistics Institute. So I did a 501c with that program. So here in about a couple of months, I'll be having CDL schools here in my location. We're gonna be doing diesel mechanic. I got a whole dispatch inside of the house that we have. I actually have 9 dispatchers that work up under me. So yeah.
So where you located? You said your location. Where you at?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, GA.
Yes, down
Black
in dirty
business
South.
heaven.
Right.
Say the dirty South, huh?
Yeah,
So
dirty.
can they find you online? Do you have a website? So if anybody watching this and they're in Atlanta and they want to link up with you, what do they need to do?
Right. So I am known as Miss C, the orange you trucking lady. That's that side of the house. Or they may know me as Miss C, the DUI lady. So yes, my websites are online, which is 2renewlogistics.com. And also 2 Wings DUI and Risk Reduction School is online as well. So they have all our businesses that are there that they can actually get in contact with me and so forth. And I'm on IG.
Okay. Well, we're gonna make sure that we look for you on IG. One more. Well, I got a couple more questions. Well, one, if you had to say one thing to somebody who was on the fence about, investing the $400 or $500 into taking a dispatching course, and they were saying, well, should I give it to Charles or should I give it to somebody else? What would you say?
Right. This is the best $300, $400, $500 that you're gonna put investment in where you're investing in yourself. And take your time with it and so forth like this again. And trust me, you will get it in return. I missed that 4 or 5, whatever I paid back then, by the least bit, because it has put me in a place where now, I'm at the point where I'm like a multi-millionaire. And that's in less than 6 months.
Well, look at you. Amen. Things are going down in the dirty South.
Right. Yeah. But that's hustle and grind and believing in yourself and not worry about the money. If you got $200 on your feet, put them $200 in something where you can get 200,000 or 2 million. Look at it like that.
Wow.
Amen.
There you go. So you gotta, this is Charles. You gotta, because I had a conversation with you. I was in tears because you said you got a 10,000 square foot warehouse and
Right.
another one is like 44,000, I think you mentioned.
Right. I can't get up. I'm scared I move, but right now, like behind me, I'm just in the beginning stages of the 10,000 square feet. And if you look across the road over here, there's my other warehouse over there. And that's over 45,000 square feet.
So you are getting into what's called freight forwarding, which is consolidating shippers' freight and shipping it in one location, either domestically or internationally, right? So you're getting into a whole different realm of the transportation industry.
Yes, sir, that is correct. And with your help, I'm still learning.
Supply. So you're in the supply chain side. You're moving into the warehousing side of the supply chain at this point.
Yes, that is correct. Strictly warehousing, exactly. The dredge, the containers and so forth. So we have a couple of trucks that we have that park here as well, and so forth like that. So the sky's the limit. We got the space to do it and so forth like that. And thanks for me taking the dispatching class again. Like I said, that helped me to learn. And then I'm just using that just to drive me on further where I'm going now. I just didn't want to stop at dispatching, and I just had this vision. And so here we are. Yeah.
So dispatching is the easiest entry point, and now you're evolving into other areas in the supply chain, right? And you're heading to, well, you're already there, multi-millionaire status. So
right, exactly. So yes, dispatching like started off.
Yeah.
Right. I was one of your little students sitting there on those Wednesday nights or whatever it is, looking and listening. And so forth. So, with hindsight, you just got to take what you learn and apply it. You got people say, oh, I didn't learn that from that person. No, you just didn't apply what you learned. That's it. And so forth like this. So I spent my money well, and that investment has now turned into like what I talked to you about. I'm proud to say it. I have no boast about it. Like, yes, hands down, Charles, I appreciate it. Because like I said, I can call people and they want to charge you an arm and a leg. And I'm like, you busy just like everybody else, but you will sure answer a text or call back right then. And you've been doing it for me for over a year.
Yep.
Amen. We're gonna have to get the cameras and come down so we can see you in person.
Right. See where we coming from, because I got it from like, the ladders and the ceiling, the wires and stuff hanging out the wall. But we got a vision. So I got a team in here now. We in here, working. Getting this together so we can get all this traffic that's coming through these trucks and so forth. And then the other thing that we're going to venture out into is like the truck washing. So this facility that I got, we're able to bring trucks right in and wash them, detail, fix them, all that stuff.
So once you learn game, it feels like then you start seeing all these other avenues.
Yes, right. All other avenues open up, but I just like dispatching, like, because again, if dispatching might not be your lane, okay, this might be your lane. And see, I'm a hustler. So for me, I'm looking like, okay, well, I got that down pat. Let's keep it rolling. What's the next thing? And always network and get out here, network, and talk, and information is valuable, but you ain't got to put a whole price on it. And you do get, you get that in return. So, like sharing what we're talking about now, I hope it helps somebody to see like, hey, get off that fence, take them to income tax. You about to go ahead and blow on something, nefarious, and use it to something where you're going to see that's going to be from your family, generational. And that's how I'm looking at, like, I'm submitting this now. So when I'm gone, my son is taken care of, his kids is taken care of, like that. Think long term. Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm speechless. I'm out of words, which is very seldom happens.
Right.
Yeah. You got anything else, Charles?
No, I'm just proud of her. I'm glad that she's. I appreciate Sheree, you sharing your story so that others can hear. I'm going to put it on my channel and on my different social media channels so people can see the results of hard work. Right. Starting from dispatching and transitioning and then taking and leveraging. It's all about leverage. So you come in at an easy entry point, take advantage of what you learn, and then grow and progress. And like you said, network.
Yep. Like a few people in that class, we started off, I'm always like, hey, hit me up. Let's see what we can do. Let's practice. And then some people may fall off by the wayside, but the few that hung in, like, hey, let's call each other up. What you doing? And I'm always about that vision. You got to get it out your head. Get it on a piece of paper and use like a checkoff list. And it's not just something that's sitting there. And then there you'll see yourself, growing. And that's what I did. This is no cap. This is unbelief for my own self to walk in from sitting over here a little rinky-dinky, well, I ain't say rinky-dinky office, but office, to now I'm in my full-fledged, not one, but two warehouse in less than 6 months. That ain't nobody, that's favor too, but also hard work.
Amen. Look at God. So tell the people one more time how they can find you. I know you said you was on IG.
Right. So I'm on IG. Here's something. I'm still trying to learn the social media thing. So on IG, you might see me out there on Lemon Pie Come Unique. That's a whole nother ball game. But they want to get to know me again. I am on there as To Renew Logistics, and they can find me that way.
Okay. So if they're a carrier, they can find you. If they just want some motivation and inspiration, they can find you there too.
Right. Yep. And then, if they want to call me on my phone number, I ain't gonna tell them I got 6 cell phones. And I'm busy, so one of my assistants might answer. But if you want to get in contact with me, best way is to call this number here, and it's 706-741-8986. And if you want to, have a chance to speak with me, individually, sure, I have no problem with talking to you, but you have to schedule with my sister because she sets that up.
Amen.
Okay.
Right. And I don't charge.
Amen.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
we gonna get you up there, get your thing started too.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. Any help, any advice, I'm willing to listen, learn, and I will shut up and listen.
Amen.
Yes, I do appreciate you guys taking the time and give your flower where your flowers do. And yes, Charles, you got it going on. It's stuff. That's all I got to say. Hands down.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate. I know you're busy. I want to let you go. And thanks again. Now, we're gonna try to get down there, Sadan. Probably have to schedule something. You, Malcolm, the team, get down there.
Okay.
I don't know when.
Sounds good to me.
Summer, maybe towards the summer, maybe towards the fall. We'll just have to schedule something.
Okay. All right. No problem. Sounds good. I look forward to seeing you guys then. Okay.
All right.
We can't wait.
All right. Best of luck to everything. You guys just keep on trucking from the Orange You Trucking Lady.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, Sadan.
She was awesome.
Yes. And I'm still recording a little bit, but I removed her from the recording. But yeah, that's so she's my first multi-million-dollar student. So.
And what do you think? I mean, what do you think about what she's doing now, though? How does that work? Because now she's holding freight.
Yes. So what Sheree is doing, she has a dispatching side, a dispatching company. So she's doing that. And then she has warehousing. So what warehousing does is those containers that get picked up from the ports, it's called drayage or container work. She has contracts with those companies, those drayage companies, or those other companies that pick up the containers, bring them to her warehouse, and then offload them at her warehouse to either store them for a later shipment out, or to cross dock and transload them into other LTL companies to ship out to different locations, because not all the freight on those containers are going to the same location. They can be distributed to different locations. So they have to be offloaded somewhere and separated and categorized and reloaded onto the LTL trucks that's going to the specific locations where they were scheduled to go to. So she's kind of an intermediate. Yeah, she's warehousing, like an intermediary. So that's what she's doing now. And she has a 10,000, she was just calling us from the 10,000 square foot. And then she says across the street, the 44,000 square foot warehouse.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's a lot of ways to make money in this dispatching and logistics side, not just on the driver's side.
That's correct. You make your money, you come in at an easy entry point, which is dispatching, right? You come in as an easy entry point, and then you make your revenue, and then you leverage that revenue to do other things, stay in the transportation industry. She's doing the supply chain. She's doing the warehousing side of the supply chain. She could do the logistics side of the supply chain with the trucking side, freight brokering, and other things. But she's doing what's called she's a freight forwarder. She takes the freight and forwards it to other locations, right? She receives the freight in, and according to the manifest of the freight and where it goes, she distributes it through LTL companies, or she receives freight in and consolidates it to be shipped to one location, either domestically or internationally. So she's getting into those $1 million contracts, I mean, off the top. And she has the warehouse facilities and the capacity to do that. So.
And all that's built with a dispatcher foundation.
That's the easiest way to do it. You can build it with other foundations, that's fine. But the easiest way to do it, to get introduced to the industry, right? To get the easiest way to get introduced to this industry is through dispatching, in my opinion. Others may have a difference. In my opinion, it's dispatching, because you come in at a very minimal cost, and you learn the relationships between the truck drivers, the carriers, the owner operators, and the freight brokers, in which you are finding the freight for your carriers if you're dispatching. And then over time, as you build relationships with the brokers and the carriers, you're going to see other things and have other ideas pop up, like Sheree, for example. She said, well, I'm in an area, I'm on a location off of I-85. There's warehouses out here. There's a need. She found a need. And now she filled that gap. She filled that hole. So yeah, it's possible. So,
amen.
Yeah.
Well, man, this has been fun. I think we should do it again.
Yes, we should do it again. You should do it again. This video, for those of you who are on the fence, you just heard from one of our, and look, she did this. What did she say? Less than 6 months. Right. She's a multi-millionaire in less than 6. Now, granted, she had other businesses also to leverage that. So let's be realistic. Let's say a year. Let's remove her other businesses aspect of it, and let's say in less than a year, if you follow the same model that Sheree done, come in as an easy entry point, learn dispatching, and then leverage your knowledge from that to transition and to progress and to migrate into other areas in the supply chain, you can be a multi-millionaire as well, or get your first million. They say the first million is the hardest. You know, I found that out last year. So yeah, you know. So, but if you're on the fence, those who are listening in this audience, because this is still being recorded, if you're on the fence, you know, just dispatching, you know, come in as a dispatcher, and then we still have an ongoing special for our dispatching members, 50% off to transition into the freight broker. And then we talk about other things, like the things that Sheree just spoke about. I could talk about warehousing all day. I was in warehousing. I could talk about freight forward. I got a freight forwarder on speed dial. I can call him. 2 actually, freight forward. So I know about it, right? So, I mean, and then I have mentors.
On Sundays.
Right.
But on Sundays, don't you guys practice? Don't you guys have people practicing so you know what to say on the phones? So you know how to fill out your paperwork so that you're really confident once you finally finish the course that you can actually get right into it and apply it.
Correct. And that's in addition to what I already trained you on. In addition to what I give you in the platform, on Sundays, we have what's called Exodus University, XU, where Shantae, who is the cold calling, the carrier acquisition specialist, along with Trevay and LaDonna, who are also a part of XU, administrators, provide that service. For those who attend on those XU Sundays, you get the call. They vet you out. Well, they vet the carriers out, I should say. Mm-hmm. And they call the carriers live, and you practice calling them on the phone. You dial their number and call them. We get to hear what you say. You get hung up on, you get conversated with, but you get real world experience, right? And then we kind of vet that call afterwards. So,
and once you get good at it, you're good at it.
Right. So if you don't, I'm just saying, if you don't fail, right? Because people have a fear of failing, right? But if you don't fail, you're not even trying. Right.
And then plus you get to learn. You get to see why you failed. You get to see what you could have done different, because you actually have people in the room who can objectively look at what you're doing and say, hey, this is where we need to improve.
Right. So if you don't fail, you're not even trying. And your goals do not care about your excuses. Right? Your goals do not. Yeah, neither do the bills. Your bills don't care about your excuses. Your goals don't care about your excuses. You're trying to get to this goal. It don't care about what excuses you got. You're trying to come over here. Come on over here. I don't care what excuses you got. If you want to get over here, you got to find a way. So, I mean, we're in 2022. There's no more excuses. There's so many variables out here. So many ways to make money, right? So many ways to make. I think, me personally, and I'm gonna say this on the record. It's gonna be funny though, but I think the transportation industry is our form of reparations. Because you have an ability to make, generational wealth, right? It's one of many forms, right? But yeah, you have an ability, and just like what Sheree said, she's building her legacy for her family, not only her children, but her children's children. So when she's gone, if she established a way for her children's children to be set for life, then she did her job.
Absolutely.
And then the next generation should do the same thing. And then the next generation should do the same thing. That way, 2 generations down in unison don't have to worry. If everyone do their job in their generation for their next generation, then every other generation shouldn't have a worry, right? So
exactly. I mean, nobody in her family is going to have to call somebody boss. Nobody in her family is going to have to worry about getting fired, laid off, furloughed, asked to take a pay cut, because they're self-sufficient and they're able to make their own money. Right. And in today's society, people are taking a pay cut and don't even know it. Because if gas goes up $2, now you got to get a $2 raise. And how likely is that to happen?
Good luck. So, and then another thing, in addition to the economic side, we have to think about the social, the physical side, time freedom. You want to get so being an entrepreneur and your own boss, you get your time freedom back. You can set aside time for yourself as opposed to having to depend on someone else to control your destiny, punching a clock from 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 or whatever that time is, right? You get that back as being your own boss. So,
especially when you start talking about, Mother's Day is this month, and a lot of kids get in trouble because there are no parents at home. There's no mom. Like when I came up, my mom worked, but the lady that lived next door didn't. So she always, knew if I got home from school okay. If something happened, I could always go next door, so I never had to really worry whether or not I was going to eat or if I needed something, who I would call to turn to, because I knew that Miss Vaughn was right next door. So with that being said, Mother's Day's coming up. A lot of moms would love to be at home with their kids, homeschooling their kids, being able to go and do things with their kids and show them the world. And either A, they don't have the time, or B, they don't have the money. But dispatching and freight brokering gives you both. It gives you freedom of time, and then it gives you actually some money to enjoy your time with.
So that's a double whammy. Bam, bam. And you can do it from anywhere. I could turn around. I could turn my screen around. I'm in Ocean City, Maryland. I don't know if it's too much of a glare, but I'm in Ocean City, Maryland. You see the Atlantic Ocean right there. I'm in the hotel room. You can do it from anywhere. Right.
All you need is what?
All you need is what you're looking at, a laptop, right? cell phone. And in my case, I'm using the hotel's access to internet. So internet access, or even if you don't have internet at your house, you keep your phone plugged up and use the hotspot on your phone, the internet, right? The mobile hotspot. So no excuse, right? No excuse, right? So, and again, this is 2022. I don't understand what's going on. So, but it is what it is. But I'm here to help. So if you come into my world, you will get as much. The one guarantee I can give you, well, I'll give you two guarantees. The first guarantee, if you enroll in our program, Dispatcher 101 or Freight Broker 101, you're going to get 100% of me. Okay. The second guarantee is if you don't, you will not be successful if you don't do anything. That's the guarantee. If you don't do anything, then you won't be successful. That's a guarantee, right? So you got to do something. Exactly. So if you join us, you get 100% of me. And every student that you talk to, as far as I can see, will tell you that. You know, you call this cell phone, I pick it up. You email me, I answer. You text me, I answer. I mean, because I come from, number one, I'm cut from a different cloth. Number two, I come from a customer service background where I'm big on customer service. So I want to receive it. That's why I give it out. Just like respect, I want to be respected. That's why I give respect. Excuse me, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. So you get that. So that foundation has been instilled in me since birth, since my childhood. So it's now I'm 51, so I'm an adult now. So I just project that into the platform. So,
and plus we work really hard to make sure that that's all you really have to worry about. You know, I mean, there's a team of us, you know, behind the scenes, making sure that all Charles has to do is teach his classes and answer his phone. So there's no divided attention, you know, for him. You know, he's able to 100% focus on students and student outcomes. So,
and speaking of team,
that's what we do.
Speaking of team, I always like to give a shout out to my team. So you're hearing right now on this recording, Saddam, Mr. Long, he's the content person. He provides the idea, the marketing, the strategies and things like that. I have a Wix team, Dave, Jessica, Katie. I have the platform team, the administrators, LaDonna, Shantae, and Trevay. And of course, my number one team member is my wife, Tasha. So, that's my team, right? So without them, there's no me, right? So, I mean, I can't do this by myself, but it may give the appearance that I'm doing everything by myself, but there's no way. No one can make it on their own. You have to have a foundation and a team behind you, right? So, and I always give.
Anybody who joins, you know, they become part of our team, become part of our family, you know, so everything that we learn, we know we pour into Exodus, and it comes out on the other end for you guys to enjoy.
Right. And you just got that personified in Miss Character, Miss Sheree. She just showed you the personification of the evolution of going from a dispatcher, and then now she's a freight forward. She's getting into freight forward. She's purchased two warehouses, and she's a multi-millionaire. And in less than 6 months.
Exactly. And the cool thing, and these just, you know, because, you know, obviously I didn't come from trucking, you know, just to be clear. But as I learned this, it seems to me that you can use dispatching to get your money up, to build your connections, to build your understanding, the practice, and then you can just kind of evolve into a freight broker, evolve into freight forwarding, evolve into all of these other areas, because you will have gotten that dispatcher training, which is, you know, going to teach you the language, is going to teach you how the industry works, so that now, you know, 2 years from now, when you get good at it and you stack some money, now you can really start to invest in other areas of the transportation industry that can build long-term success, that you can then, you know, not even have to really work. You know, right. Like she said, she's got dispatchers working under her.
Correct. She has 9 actually, that from what she told me in the conversation. So also too, I have 2 students, James and Joshua, who came through dispatching. They both are one, I should say, I know for sure, is in brokering now. And Joshua, he also has a trucking company. He purchased a truck through leveraging the income that he made from dispatching. He purchased a power-only truck, a tractor. And now he's running loads for that. He's running loads for his truck, dispatching his own truck, and his dispatching company is dispatching for other owner operators as well. So he's, you see, I mean, I don't know what else to say, right? So I mean, it's just you just gotta
money.
you just gotta do it, right? You just gotta do it. Take that leap of faith and do it, right? Let us be the safety net for you when you feel that you're falling and you jumping in the pool without water. We'll be there to kind of we'll be that buoy to kind of rescue you, right? So, and you know, we got it. So
right.
I think that's it. I don't want to hold you guys too long. I got another call to make, but just wanted to share that with you. I can be reached 757-515-1684. I'll paste all the contact information below in this video. It's going to be on YouTube and on my on the website as well. So Sadan, you got any closing words?
We'll give them the website one more time before we go.
The website is www.exodusdispatchingandtraining.com, and that will be in the description of the video as well. The phone number, the emails, 2 emails, info@exodusdispatchingandtraining.com and exoduslogisticsllc@yahoo.com. 2 phone numbers, area code 757-695-9565, and then the main one, 757-515-1684. So, okay.
Well, I'm Sadan Long. Obviously, it's SADONLONG. Sadan Long Solutions is the company that I own. You can find me at growntorich.com, or you could just search out Sadan Long on social media. It's Mother's Day month. We're not just gonna call it Mother's Day. We're gonna call it Mother's Day month. So by the time this actually drops, there will be a Mother's Day special. It is our best price of the season. So if you're a mom or you know somebody who wants to get away from their 9 to 5, who needs to make more money than they're making, plus spend more time with their kids, because a lot of our kids honestly are not getting a fair shake in the school system. And they would fully benefit from being homeschooled. They'd fully benefit from you being able to take time out of your day and go to the school. So if you're really looking for a life change that allows you to spend more time with your kids and make more money than you probably could ever make at most of these jobs, and $500 is an investment that can get you there, click the link, go to the website and get started. Plus, if I'm correct, summer is like the beginning of the big season for dispatching. So there's going to be a lot more carriers looking for somebody to dispatch for them. So if there's a time to get in, it's right now.
Very good.
You agree?
I agree 100%. Yes.
Okay.
And let me say this too. Let me put a realistic statement, because some people will ask the question, well, is the industry saturated? Dispatchers. Yes, it's saturated with people who don't know what they're doing, who don't have a clue, right? We train you to gradually phase out those who don't know how to dispatch. What I mean when I say those who don't know how to dispatch is when you send your carriers, your truck drivers, to areas that they can't get out of, right? You want to keep your carriers running, flowing, that they're generating between 8 to 12,000 a week, grossing 8 to 12,000 a week, 8 to 12,000 K a week in their truck, right? So if you can do that consistently, then you're a good dispatcher, right? If you send your carrier to an area where they can't get out of, then she's going to probably try to get rid of you.
So quick question on that. You say 8 to 12K. So what would a dispatcher's ballpark figure be if they were doing 8 to 12K for a driver?
So let's say, dispatchers can charge they can charge a percentage per load that they book for the carrier, or they can charge a flat fee per week. Most dispatchers charge a percentage per load because they feel that they're getting more for they're getting more value for the work, right? So the range of percentages for new dispatching companies that I train and advise is between 5 and 10%. Let's just say 10%. Let's do a high number. That's the max, right? That says you're experienced, you know what you're doing, blah, 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 right? And 10%, so 8 to 12,000 a week will be 800 to 1,200 a week to you, the dispatcher, gross for that one carrier. How many carriers can you handle at one time? And what I mean by can you handle, which means can you consistently keep each carrier running the same way, the same level of commitment and work ethic that you give one carrier, you need to give to however many you feel that you can handle without having, before you have to scale your business and bring sub dispatchers under you. Let's say 3, right? Let's say 3. So 8 to 1,200 a week times 3 is 24 to 3,600 a week to you, gross, the dispatcher. Can you handle making $24 to $3,600 a week, grossing that, right? For just running 3 carriers consistently? Yes or no? Most people are like, hell yes. But yeah, And that's at 10%. Let's say 5%. That's still good numbers at 5%, right? But 10% is kind of the max. That's a fair, most dispatchers don't charge. Well, we got people who charge more than 10%, but they are overcharging their worth, right? In my opinion. So, but those are the numbers, right? And those are the numbers that I give starting out to be fair to the carriers, because you want to be just as fair to the one carrier as you are to the second and the third carrier. You want to give them the same level of communication, the same level of work ethic and yourself across the board, right? You want to be fair to everybody. So if you can be fair with 3, you can be fair with 4, you can be fair with 5, then go for it. But be fair with the first one first, get that system in place, and then scale that by adding another one and another one.
Yeah, because we're playing the long game. I mean, you're looking at, again, just to say you're getting $1,200 a week and you get a second driver, now you're getting $2,400 a week. But by the end of the month, you're looking at what, 4 times 24 is 8, like $9,200. I think my math might be a little off.
No, but hey, close enough.
Yeah.
9,600. Yeah. So close to 10,000, close to 10,000 a month, 120. So there's your 6 figures right there. And you got 3 carriers or 4 carriers, right? So 6 figures over 100,000 grossly now, gross. Now what you bring home, what you net depends on how well you are with your taxes and how much you write down and your expenses. You better get an accountant, right? So that way your tax liability is lower, but it is what it is, right? So
yeah. And even if you got 4 of them, as long as your service doesn't drop off, you can work from anywhere, right?
Yep, that's correct. As long as you got that laptop, that cell phone, that internet access, and some formal training. Hopefully it's with Exodus. Yep.
You know, so how do they reach you one more time? Then I'm gonna let you go.
Reach me at 757-515-1684. Cell phone. The email is, I'll just give you the first one, exoduslogisticsllc at yahoo.com. And then the website is www.exodusdispatching with an ing and and training with an ing.com. And this will be posted in the video here. And also, I was going to say join our Facebook group, but only members can do that. But subscribe to the YouTube channels. We have 2 YouTube channels: Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners YouTube channel and Freight Broker 101 Training for Beginners. So
and what's on those channels?
Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners and Freight Broker 101 Training for Beginners. Okay.
So there's always content on those channels. Make sure you guys follow along. And man, you know, don't forget the Mother's Day special. You know, this is the best time to join, because after summer's over with, then comes Christmas.
Here we go. Let's keep it going. All right. All right, guys. All right, Saddam. Thank you.
All right. You have a good one.
All right, guys. You too.